Welcome to the Clarity Mandate podcast. The question I want to put to you this is, what if I told you that artificial intelligence is not changing your jobs, that it may be quietly rebuilding systems that are different from the class systems that we have seen in the past decades. Hard work and education, education and endurance has been the pathway to upward mobility across societies, across communities. But AI is creating in this era some new and dangerous divide, as I would like to put it. Those who own the intelligence infrastructure and those who are being displaced by it. So you're going to be on one side of the divide. You're either on the side of those who own intelligence infrastructure, or you are on the side of those who are actually displaced by intelligence infrastructure. So the uncomfortable truth these days is this: the future may not be what we've known for ages, separating the rich from the poor. The future may actually be separating those who are able to leverage AI from those who are being replaced by AI. And research is increasingly telling us that AI is increasingly dividing productivity gains. Think about it. Those who are able to leverage AI, they own the capital, the AI infrastructure, they are having high returns for this investment. And the biggest risk of this decade that we have never seen before. Inequality, it's not like we used to know in the past, poverty and all that. The biggest risk is that technology is actually accelerating inequality, because automation without inclusion of everyone from every walks of life is going to lead to massive exclusion of so many people. And the real question these days is not, will AI change society? The question is, who benefits and who is left behind because of this technology? Who is benefiting from AI? Who is being left behind by AI? That's the question we need to answer. Everyone needs to look at this question and answer it. At the Clarity Mandate podcast, we're looking at deeper conversations on all this, and what we are discussing is the wealth divide. We're looking at who wins, who loses, and how is automation rebuilding the class system that ordinary people are unable to access the benefits that are becoming permanent. AI is building billionaires, millionaires overnight, and then others are being left behind. So to understand this further, we need to get to some history. If we go back to the Industrial Revolution, that created enormous prosperity. But guess what? It also created a painful inequality. Factory owners became millionaires and they were extraordinarily wealthy. But workers who endured long hours had no access to really owning these resources. They remain at the bottom of the chain. If you look at electricity, another invention that was there in the past, it created losers and winners. If you look at the internet created losers and winners. If you look at globalization, the ability to sit in your kitchen table in one part of the world and create a product and sell it across the world, it created winners and losers. And now the AI era that we are in is creating winners and losers. The difference is that AI is moving exponentially faster than any other innovation that we have known. A factory revolution that took place, it took a longer time, but AI disruption is happening in days, in weeks, in months. It's not taking years. And here is really the uncomfortable reality. Technology does not automatically reduce inequality. It often amplifies existing advantages and it also amplifies existing disadvantages. So when we want to think about AI and who is currently benefiting, major technological firms, the capital owners, the data rich companies, the ones that own the data centers, the highly skilled technical professionals who can actually leverage these organizations with high computing power. And the question is why? Because in economics, ownership matters. So let me say something very provocative. In the AI economy, labor matters less than leverage. We are now in the leverage economy. Labor used to have its place. Right now, leverage has a better place than labor. And what does this mean? This means that a person who owns systems, increasingly out earns the person working inside the system because the system brings leverage. And I believe that we may be entering a new economic hierarchy. And the one where class number one, for example, would be the AI owners. And these are the people who own the platforms, own the models, own the data, own the computing infrastructure, the people who own the algorithms, and the people who own the intellectual property. A small number of companies are increasingly in control of the intelligence layer of the economy. And a concentration of power actually matters. And research is telling us that those with high concentration are only in very few countries. Think of the US, you think of China, you think of a few countries with this kind of heavy capacity. And these are the ones that are in class number one of this new AI divide. And think about class number two, the AI amplifiers. So these are the people who use AI dramatically to increase their productivity. You people, whether in art, in research, in any industry, they are using AI to increase their productivity. Whether you're looking at entrepreneurs, creators, strategists, researchers, consultants, executives, small business owners using AI to amplify, duplicate. We're talking about clones and all kinds of things, AI agents and things that people are using to amplify their business. And class number three, you're looking at AI vulnerable workers. These are the workers whose jobs depend heavily on repeatable cognitive tasks, administrative work. We're going to be seeing more and more AI doing this kind of work. We're looking at entry level analyst kind of work. We will be seeing more and more AI doing this kind of work. We're looking at routine legal processing. We will be seeing AI taking over most of this basic coding. I mean, AI is doing massive, great coding. You're looking at documentation. You're looking at data processing. AI is out there taking a lot of this job. But not all the jobs will disappear. But the bargaining power for these jobs, it's being weakened by AI. And it's just a matter of time to see how far this goes. And class number four, the economically disconnected population. This is actually the dangerous category. You're talking about communities without digital literacy. You're talking about community without AI access. You're talking about community without capital, without infrastructure, without any training pathways. These communities are the most vulnerable in rural areas, in places where you don't even have access to internet, talk less of access to AI. And this exclusion is going to compound in the AI era. When you think about globally, you're looking at immigrant communities, you're looking at economically vulnerable communities, and the risk to this community, it's really going to be permanent economic marginalization. So let's talk honestly why this matters. Why are we talking about this? Look at diaspora communities, African communities, other communities globally. Many diaspora communities already carry structural disadvantages. They carry educational debts. They carry underemployment. They are already underemployment. They carry credential barriers. They carry immigration constraints. They carry limited intergenerational wealth and a lack of capital access. So, if low skilled jobs are becoming automated and middle class knowledge work becomes compressed and reduced, what happens to mobility? The question is, what happens to mobility in this AI era? And this is why I believe that AI conversations must become an economic justice conversation. AI conversations must become an economic justice conversation because guess what? Access will determine outcomes, access to tools, access to education, access to mentorship, access to capital, access to networks, and the communities that organize themselves early, learn early, build early will be the communities that will leapfrog early. But the communities that wait or that don't have any access to do what they need to do will risk failing behind at a historic scale. So the question is, what are we dealing with? Now, let's address something, in my view, that is far deeper, and that is fear. Many people in this era really feel something is changing, but they cannot always articulate what is it that is changing in this era. And some people are fearing uncertainty. Will my job survive? Will my children be okay? Will my degree matter in the future? Will there still be opportunities for people like me? These are rational fears that people are living with in this era, but fear without strategy will create paralysis. So, history teaches us something that is very important, and I want to talk about it. Periods of disruption create extraordinary risk, but they also create extraordinary opportunities. If you're just joining us, we are on the Clarity Mandate podcast, and we are talking about AI and the AI divide. So, the internet created billionaires, but it also created creators, educators, consultants, and small business owners who build entirely new lives because of the internet. The future will really belong to those who do not panic. It will belong to those who adapt faster and those who refuse to walk in fear. So the question is, how do you escape the AI world divide? I want us to become more practical in this section as we begin to look at rounding up this discussion. How do ordinary people, the ordinary Joe, avoid becoming casualties of this rapid AI transformation? Number one, you need to become AI literate. I just completed my Google Cloud AI leadership certification, and I am doing other certification, machine learning, and all these things. You want to educate yourself. Guess what? I already have a PhD. I'm already in a career, but this is the AI literate era. And whatever you do, you need to see how to improve your AI skills. There are a lot of courses. You can join our online community. We have lots of free courses that we share on AI because AI is here to stay. You don't need to master coding, but you must understand how to use AI effectively. So your next action after you become educated is build ownership and not just employment. Create your own digital assets. This is the era where everyone can own assets. Create your media, your courses, your communities, your advisory service, your business. If you don't know how to do any of these, DM us, join our community, and we're going to help you create and scale these products that will help you to sustain this AI era. Number 3, learn how to leverage high human skills, critical thinking, trust building, leadership, creativity, negotiation, skills like systems thinking. You need to be able to learn all these kind of skills because you will need them to stand ahead in the AI era. And the next thing is teach your children early. I am planning this summer. I want to teach my children AI to become more literate in AI and to know how to use AI responsibly. And number 5, you want to build a community-based economic intelligence, not just one wise person. You want to build a community of people because guess what? Communities will share tools, communities will share opportunities, communities will share knowledge, and you don't want to be in isolation in the AI era. And there is wisdom in remembering that technology may reshape market, but it should never determine human dignity. Every generation has their own disruptions that they face. Our generation is facing the AI disruption, but every generation also received opportunities from their disruption. The question now is not whether the world is changing. The question is whether are we developing the wisdom to change with the changing world. So in closing, artificial intelligence may become one of the greatest economic accelerator in history. But if we are not intentional, it may deepen inequality. The future divide may not simply be rich versus poor, it may increasingly become owners versus users, adapters, those who adapt right versus those who are rigid to adapt to the change, the digitally empowered individuals versus the economically displaced ones. And the most dangerous mistake we can make is assuming that this transformation will somehow solve itself. No, it will not solve itself because history rewards people who are prepared. So perhaps the better question to ask yourself is not, will AI reshape the economy? The better question might be, what side of the divide am I preparing to stand on? The side of the builders or the side of the users, the side of the adapters or the side of the rigid? So I just want to thank you for joining me on the Clarity Mandate podcast. If this episode expanded your thinking, you want to go out there and share it with some entrepreneur, with some student, with some policymaker, some community maker, a member that might learn from it, because clarity is not simply seeing disruption. Clarity is positioning yourself before disruption becomes your reality. I will see you in the next episode.